back with the master gardener, the green thumb guru. His name is Ed SOURDIFFE. We're going to talk about how frost time might actually increase and help some of your plants, because it does something interesting to plants and vegetables like Swiss chard.
Yes. Frost is the end of the season, growing season for many things, but for certain things in the garden, it actually will enhance their flavor. Swiss chard, like we have here, this is rainbow Swiss chard. It's really pretty. It has yellow stems, white stems, red stems, and that really will last through the frosts. Spinach and kale will all get a little bit sweeter when the frost hit it, because what the plant's going to start doing, it's going to start producing more sugars, and that's going to act like an antifreeze in the plant. So then the plant will get sweeter and sweeter, so it'll be way better than it was earlier in the year when it's a little bit more bitter. So it's actually a good time of year for certain plants to eat them.
Is there a time at which, let's say people at home, they're growing spinach, they're growing chard, they call it a day and they just, they till for next year and they get ready?
Actually, they have something called 4-season gardening now, where you can actually do little hoop houses over spinach, and you can go right through Christmas and stuff with them.
No
So
way.
yeah, you can, all this stuff, if you don't let it get buried in snow, you could probably keep eating it through the winter.
Come back sometime, tell us about a hoop house.
Okay,
I'm
we'll do that.
Now also, we were talking about these ornamental kales and cabbages earlier. We're going to show you how you can transform a planter to making these happen. How do you do it?
Yeah, now this here is a regular coleus. Now we haven't had a killing frost yet. We've had light frosts.
Some damaging frost.
Yeah, some damaging. I've been covering my plants at home, which is a great thing to do because it really will extend your season. You spent so much time and so much money on your garden. You want to, make it last a little longer.
Your money's worth.
Yeah, and sometimes the frost comes and then you have these days like last night with 61 degrees.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so you can have these whole weeks of great temperatures. So right here, when we had that cold snap last week, this coleus never really got a frost because it was covered, but it's a type of coleus that does not like the cold weather, so you can see it's wilting.
It's
and
drooping.
Stuff. Yeah, it's drooping. So like we said earlier in the year, instead of planting plants directly in these heavy pots, you can just put the pot in there, and if you want to lift that out, you can lift it up by the stems or...
Take my jacket off because I feel like I might get dirty.
There.
There we go. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah, and so you can see there the guy is.
So just take it out.
Yeah, just take it out. Actually, maybe put it on the floor, and then we'll just put 3 of these guys in. You don't have to plant them. You can actually put them like a threesome, like.
Just in the.
Well, actually, I would make them like a bunch, like this. Just shove them together and put that one up against this one, and then put all 3 plants right in there.
This kind of makes cleanup a whole lot easier too.
Yeah, and they'll go all the way down, and there you go.
Look at that. Let's show everybody at home. That is really something.
Yeah, and that was a quick replacement, so you're ready for the party on the weekend. If you had that other thing going, you're all good to go.
Now, again, I think you discussed it earlier, but the watering and upkeep of these ornamental plants like the kales and the cabbages.
Yeah, well, here you'd be hard to water them. You can't get by the leaves. So all I would do is go from the bottom here, pull them back up, and they will come right back out. And then I would just soak them in water and then put them back in. They'll be good probably for a week with the cooler weather.
But we don't want to keep them sitting in water because they might rot.
Yeah, sitting in water is usually good for nothing except for water plants. Other plants don't like that.
Now, if we have a regular garden too that's out and about and we want to get it ready for winter, just a couple quick tips. What can we do to make sure our gardens are back and better than ever next year?
Okay, well, if you had in your flower garden or your vegetable garden, if you had, especially your perennial beds and things, if you saw any kind of disease or insects in there, it's good to cut them back once they're killed back by the frost and pull away all that the plant material. If you had no disease or pests, you can put it right in your compost pile. If you did have some disease or pests this year, the disease will still be there, the pests will have laid eggs, so you want to rake that up and actually put it to the garbage. You want to get rid of that.
So a little bit of maintenance now can really save you next year.
Yeah, and actually some people like me, if I don't have a problem in the perennial garden with disease or anything, what I will do is I will actually leave the stalks and things there, because what will happen is they'll actually collect the snow. As the winter comes, the snow will drift there and it'll build and build and build, and that actually acts as an insulator. And it's a really good thing for the plants because you don't have those like negative 20-degree nights. It only gets like
snow insulation, which
yeah,
you
it's
never
like an
think
igloo.
Is accurate, but it works out.
Yeah, it does.
Ed, thank you so much.
Right,
always a
welcome.
pleasure. More information, mymassappeal.com. That's where you go. And ahead on Mass Appeal, going meatless, it doesn't mean giving up flavor when it comes